So, yeah, you have FOMO over that, and you might have FOMO over
FOMO over you in a minute if you don't.
Just look at this. I mean, isn't this incredible? This was taken by Dan Abbott in Cornwall. Absolutely amazing. These are humpback whales, and there's been a few sightings of them. There's been at least three individuals in the last week. And this year, they've seen 34. Well, they've had 34 recorded sightings. Now, that obviously doesn't mean there were 34 individuals. They know there were 3. But it's really exciting stuff because it's unusual to see humpback whales around our coastline, isn't it?
Yeah, what's going on there? Well, look, come over here and I can demonstrate. I've got a little whale on a stick here. Basically, they're migrating. They've been up here, right up in the Arctic, where the water is full of food. They've been gorging on that, but they've got to move to the places where they give birth to their young, much warmer water. So they're migrating, and typically that would take them down the west side of the UK, and that's where predominantly we get most of those sightings, certainly around here off of the coast of Cornwall and Devon. But increasingly, because their numbers have started to increase, they're now coming back down through the North Sea. They would have done that historically before all of the whaling reduced their numbers, of course, and if they do that, it does mean they've got to go through the channel, and there's a chance that we can see them along the south coast. So they are being spotted, as I say, in Dorset and Devon and Cornwall too. And then they head all the way down here to the Caribbean, across the Bay of Biscay, past the Azores maybe, and then across the Atlantic to the Caribbean, to those warm waters to give young. You don't want to give birth to your young in cold water, even if there's lots of food there, because it would spend too much of its energy trying to stay warm. That's why they migrate.
So it's exciting that we're seeing them, but why are we seeing them? Well, we asked Dan Jarvis from the Cornwall Wildlife Trust. He said there were probably 3 reasons. Well, as Chris said, you know, their numbers have increased dramatically since the commercial whaling ban in 1986. So there are a lot more of them. It may be due to climate change. Our waters may have become more suitable and better feeding opportunities. So perhaps that's the reason. But the third reason could be because they're just not fit enough, those individuals, to make the full migration. So they're using our coast as a sort of stop-off point.
To get some more food. And there's evidence of that. Take a look at this. This is a split photo, same whale in both photos. The photo of it on the left was taken in December. It's called Ivy. You can identify humpback whales as individuals by looking at their tail flukes. They have distinctive black and white patterns, and the shape of that fluke is distinctive as well. So we know it's the same whale. When it turned up in December, you can look there on the left-hand side. It looks a bit thin. A month later in January, after feeding in those fish-rich waters, it does appear to have put on some weight, which would enable it to successfully cross the Atlantic, and if it were in the process of gestating, maybe even give birth to its young.
Do you know where we've got to go? Cornwall. We've got to go to Cornwall.
I'd love to see one in UK waters. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Coastline.
Amazing.